Hey everyone, Andrew from Zone 5 Models, and welcome to 2022. Wow, so 2021 went by fast. I thought 2020 went by real fast. So we're all obviously aware of the world situation right now. I don't think it's getting any better anytime soon, but hey, that's another story. So yeah, welcome to 22, and I hope everyone on the channel's doing well. And Mark, thanks for the tag there. Yeah, well done. Cheers, mate. so you're up to tornado number 11. Well done. As you just saw from the intro there, yeah, I need to get cracking on my stash. I'd have a production line of those things going by now if it wasn't for some of the commission work I've been doing over the past sort of year to 18 months. And I'm sorry about the goofy hat. I'm having a real bad hair day today, so time to go and get a haircut. So ignore the hat. So what's been going on? I've been a bit quiet since my last video, which was that's actually shown 2 months ago. So not too bad. Not that I'm trying to run any competition or anything. So what have I been up to? Commission build wise, I just completed 2 commissions for a couple of guys that I know through the New Zealand Warbirds Association. Currently under construction is a retired New Zealand Air Force P40N Warhawk, which was used up in the islands during World War II and was dug out of a town just south of where I live, just a little spot town where pretty much all World War II aircraft from New Zealand ended up, just stored in a field and later scrapped or purchased by private buyers. And then about 3 years ago now, a couple were put up for sale. And one of the guys I know has bought one when it's currently under restoration. And just to, the guy I've known for a long time now. I fly with him. I'm not a pilot, but I have a vested interest in the stuff and the aircraft he owns, and help to look after his aeroplane whenever I'm flying with him. So given that I previously built the three aircraft now for him that I've built, I thought it was only natural that I was going to build the Warhawk. Unfortunately, I didn't on this occasion. I didn't actually have a real airplane to go off as far as references go. So I kind of had to wing it through research, through some local historians, and use existing markings as a reference, and then just through research figuring out more the numbers rather than the individual markings, as far as generic stuff like the roundels, etc. That was easy, but getting the details right as far as the aircraft number, we actually ended up having 2 aircraft numbers because the aircraft was originally used by the United States Army Air Force, so it had the original Army Air Force code on it, as well as the New Zealand code that was applied to, and of course all New Zealand based aircraft are NZ registered. And so we had to do a fair bit of research into how it was actually going to look, because essentially what I was going to build was going to become the template for the restoring company to work off as a template, as a guide for what the aircraft is eventually going to look like when it rolls out, projected in the next sort of 4, possibly 5 years. So it was a big effort to get the details right. You know, modelers will always want to try and get the details right, but when you're building for someone else and you're building off something that you've not even seen yet, that's when it becomes more important to get the details right. So that was a long running project. I actually had the aircraft built probably about a year to 18 months ago, and then I was going to set the model in a diorama from when the aircraft operated up at Guadalcanal in the islands. So dioramas are not my thing, never done one before, so it was unknown territory. I had to utilise the help of some friends who do dioramas and get their help on what sort of materials to use, how to bond them, etc. But it was really going into an unknown, but I really enjoyed the process, and photos will follow at the end of this video. The second commission that I finished was for, we've got 7 Harvards based at Ardmore in the Warbirds collection, and previously I'd built Harvard 65, which for the pilot with the P40, and the other one was Harvard 78, which is to the untrained eye and to the uninitiated, it looks like an old RAF trainer, because it's in the trainer yellow scheme, and the roundels look like they're RAF, but all intents and purposes, no, it's an RNZF trainer, and it was painted yellow. Back in its heyday, it was painted in a different scheme, but that was probably a more easier build. I mean, I built the Harvard previously, so I kind of knew what to expect with the kit, using the Kitty Hawk 32nd scale kit, and it was more of a case of I took a whole bunch of reference photos from the real aircraft, modified the instrument panel, and obtained some decals. I actually ended up using a combination. Commissions are, you end up running into several different methods of how to achieve the final result. In this case, I ended up using about 3 different decal sheets plus kit markings to achieve the final result. So that was finished just on a simple base with an etched plate on it. So those 2 models got taken up to their new owners just this last Sunday, and they were really happy with it. And I've got myself suckered into doing another Harvard, and there could be more, and so just as an insurance policy, I bought 3 of them. They're actually the Kitty Hawk Harvard T6 Texan kits are somewhat more difficult to get hold of these days. They've gone up in price, because we know Kitty Hawk went out of they closed the business early last year, so naturally all their kits have gone up in price. So so as an insurance policy, I got hold of 3 of them. So I've got 1 to build and 2 just going to sit on the shelf as a insurance policy in case anybody wants any more. So that's taken up my time over the past year. We're all modelers, we're all tempted by purchases, and I'm no different. I've bought probably more than I should have this past year. But some of the other things I've tried to work on, I get bored. I get to a point where I think, I've had enough of this build, particularly when it comes to commissions, because you sort of feel duty bound to press on and get it done as quick as you can. But at some point you think, well, I've got all these other kits that I want to build, and so just when you get to that point when you think yeah, I fancy doing something else for just for 1 or 2 evenings or something, just to break things up. Yeah, I've pulled out a couple of things. The first one was I got Artillery's 48 scale A10C Warhawk in the Snake Eyes scheme. So I've just pulled that out and started tinkering with it. I got the just done basic cleanup work on the parts. This is just all dry fitted at the moment. Black pasted the undercarriage bays. Got the nose gear and cockpit assembled. Nothing's painted yet, but that's actually a really nice kit. Bit basic in areas, but it's actually it's bigger than I actually anticipated. It's a big airplane. So so that's the Artillery 48 scale A10C. Kind of undecided what kind of markings I was going to do on this one. This was just planned to be out of the box, but I'm not really too keen on the kit markings, so who knows, might find something else, or I may just wing it and just decide to go out the box anyway. So so that's the A10. The other one is the this is the Edward BF109. This is the E7, and it's out of the Edward 48 scale Barbarossa kit. This is a twin pack, so it's got the E and the F in the kit, in the same kit. So it comes with 2 sets of photo etch and some resin wheels for both airframes, as well as paint masks, which Edward are famous for. Really nice kit. The last Edward kit that I built would have been, I built the 32nd scale version of the E7. That was the Tropic kit. I loved that kit. That was my first sort of introduction to real high-end kits with photo etch and resin, and the quality standard that Edward have produced with their kits. This was no exception. For 48 scale, it surprises me how small this thing is. I've seen a 109 in real life when I was down in Wanaka a couple of years ago, and I was really surprised at how small it is. It makes the Spitfire look huge. This, having spent so long working on 32nd scale kits, this seems like 72nd scale now, but nevertheless, a great quality kit. You can do 2 versions with this. You can either do the open engine cowl or the closed. No matter which version you do, you still have to put the actual engine block in. So I've done that. I'm going full engine closed on this one. It's just intended to be a simple build. Yeah, that one's coming on nicely. I'd have liked to have been a bit further along with it, but I'm just tinkering with this. So I'm probably, I don't know, maybe 80% there as far as the actual assembly goes. Cockpit's all done. That's got all the photo etch seat belts and instrument panel and everything in it. I've been using, anyone that's been watching my channel, I've been into the SMS lacquer paints. Really like those, and I'm going to use a full set on these, on this 109. So that's what I've been up to there. And the finale of what I've been building. Look at this monster. This is the Hobby Boss 32nd scale B24J Liberator, and this is a commission. Yeah, I know. This is a really nice kit. Now, I'm aware of all the technicalities and shape issues and whatnot with this kit. Frankly, I don't care, and nor does the owner of this build. He just wants a good look. He's got a display. This is the guy who he had built a display of a 32nd scale P-51 Mustang factory, and he's up to about 19 airframes in this factory. And he's got a couple of 32nd scale B-17s all on dioramas. One of them is lit and the props are synced to turn in the proper startup sequence. There's no sound on it, it's just movement and lights. This is going to be lit. This is going to be the first time that I've ever lit a project. Fortunately, I did electronics when I was in high school, so I kind of remember a little bit about it. I just need to finalize what sort of values, you know, resistors, LEDs, etc. that I'm going to put into it. So the basic principle is that there's going to be lights in the front to light up the navigator and bombardier bay, a light in the back under the turret to light up the radio room and the cockpit, a couple of lights in the back to light up the waist gunners, ball turret, and the tail turret, and then lights going out to the wing. I'm figuring I'm probably going to do fiber optics for the landing lights and the navigation lights, but we'll see when we get to that stage. So far, this is just dry fitted at the moment. So there's one half. So far the interior's painted, the basic colours. There's a lot of detail that goes into this, so this is going to be a big project. In here I've got the floor, the bomb bay, and the mid-waist platforms built. In the cockpit is going to have air scale photo etch instrument panels. I've got resin wheels for this. I've got brass gun barrels. There's a lot of extras going into this. I've got accessories for oxygen tanks, oxygen masks, hoses. Yeah, there's a lot going in this. Oh, there's going to be a couple of lights in the bomb bay as well to light that. The idea of this is going to be, it's going to be on its wheels, the bomb bay open, and with some bombs loaded into the bomb bay, with bomb trolley with bombs, so it's showing loading. And then after discussions at the weekend with the owner, I think how we're going to do this is the wire coming out, the lead-in wire will come out of the wing from the fueling port, and then through a bowser, a fuel bowser, and then there'll be a control panel on the base that it's going to go on, and then it'll just go out to a power adapter, probably a 5 or 12 volt power adapter. I've got one ready to go. Yeah, boy don't I know how to pick a main. So that's kit wise that I've been working on. Obviously with the holiday period, I've been off since the 23rd of December, and today is my final off day. Today is a Sunday. It's the 16th of January, and yeah, this is our summertime in New Zealand. It's stinking hot outside, clear blue skies. We've got a bit of a breeze kicking up at the moment, thanks to Cyclone Cody, which has been drifting down from the islands and is tracking its way south, and sort of leaving its tail, scraping its tail down the east coast. There's been warnings of, you know, the odd swell, but also there was the volcano that erupted in Tonga just a couple of days ago, and that created earthquakes and tremors, and there was warnings of tsunamis. Fortunately, I mean, I've not checked the news this morning, so I haven't heard anything as to what the sea states are. But yeah, living in the Pacific Ring region, we're susceptible to quakes and cyclones, typhoons. You know, the Americans call it their hurricanes, their cyclones, hurricanes. In the Pacific, they're typhoons. We don't get a huge amount of them this far south, but when we get the odd one, they hit, and they hit hard. New Zealand building structures are probably, you know, historically somewhat weaker than, say, Western regions, but the change in building codes has resulted that buildings they've got to be stronger. That's what it boils down to. So yeah, it's like we're in the middle of our summer, and as you know, thanks, Mark. Yeah, sorry you're chilling your butt off in your garage, but we get it too. You know, although you know I live in the sort of far northern region of New Zealand, and so which equates to your southern region of the UK, so it gets pretty hot. You know, we've got average temperatures of 28 to 30 degrees, and you know, we're not quite as hot as Australia, which get up to the sort of mid 30s, even low 40s. We're not quite there, but it's still hot. It's hot. So yeah, we just enjoy, you know, the bizarre thing is that the whole Christmas holiday thing falls in the middle of our summer, so it's bizarre sitting on a beach and it's 29, 30 degrees outside, and you know we're having Christmas. You know, it's very bizarre. But the most bizarre thing about Christmas in New Zealand is that you go in the shops and they're still selling Christmas cards with snow scenes on them. Go figure. So it is a bit odd, but now we enjoy the summer. So I've been off now 3 weeks. Our standard holiday break is about 2 weeks. I've had a lot of leave stacked up, you know, because we had all the COVID lockdowns last year and the year before. I got so much leave stacked up that they're almost begging people to take time off. So I decided just to take an extra week, which is actually common. You know, a 2 to 3 week period, holiday period is not uncommon for people over here. Just because it's the holiday season, you know, in the UK you'd have the September, August holiday period when schools are off. Well, we're off over this period, and this is our summer holiday. It just so happens that Christmas and New Year fall in the middle of it. So on to other things. You know, as modelers, we like to have our stack of reference material, books and notes and whatever. And we all have our preferred subjects. You know, I'm into Tomcat, you know, anything that's got a jet in it really, but predominantly Tomcats and Hornets, and so I've got a plethora of Tomcat and Hornet books. And just this past week, I picked up this book. This is the F-18 E&F Super Hornet and E-18G Growler by Ken Neubeck. Published by Legends Warfare. Now I've got a couple of these books by other authors that I prefer, and I haven't had a flick through this book. The other titles in this book have a mix of photographic and descriptive text. This one not so much. This one's predominantly photographic with captions. Now, as I've researched these aircraft a lot over the years, so I know what I'm looking at. And being an aircraft engineer, I know what systems are and stuff like that. But because I know aircraft numbers, and because I know data, and because I know this and I know that about these aircraft, and anybody does about their chosen subject, I wasn't too happy with this book. Now, another author that I'm particularly fond of, he's written some fabulous material about Super Hornets, and you know, he predominantly does text books with photos. Other authors that I'm quite keen with are photographic references as opposed to historical, chronological books. This, for me, didn't cut the mustard. It's riddled with chronological and technical issues, and I've had this experience with other material, particularly from. Well, I'm not gonna hit on authors. You know, sometimes we could forget details, but when you're writing a book that's going to be published, and particularly when it's going to get picked up by enthusiasts who know this subject, yeah, I just wasn't happy with this. And I've outlined a couple of examples, and one of the glaring things, you know, for example, a description of the tail fins. You know, it explains number of tail lights are coated. Well, those blisters at the top of the tail, they are not tail lights. Stuff like that. You know, it shows it again there. Also, there was one here as well, which really got my back up. Come on. This one, this top photograph here with the F-14s. So the caption says, during the 1980s, the mix of aircraft that would have been on the deck of the US carrier, such as USS Forrestal, seen here consisting of F-14D Tomcats. Well, F-14s weren't built until 1990-91, and F-14s were on board Forrestal in the mid-80s. So chronologically, that's wrong. So there's a lot of stuff, and I've highlighted at least 10 issues with that book. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you want a book on Super Hornets and Growlers, you get this book. If you want a chronological history of the development and operational history of the airplane, buy this book. Okay, Brad Elwood, who I'm friends with on Facebook, and I've had regular contact with him about, you know, certain technicalities with the aircraft. He's done this book. He's done Top Gun books. You know, basically, as far as I'm concerned, if you want to know anything about Super Hornet, you buy a Brad Elwood book. If you want a photographic reference, just for your modelling references, you buy this book by Jake Mellenby. This is the Read Air book, and people rave about this. And if you want a Tomcat book, buy the Danny Coleman book, the Dayco Productions book, for the Tomcat. But for the Hornet, this is an invaluable reference material. This has got photos from every angle, inside and out, perfect technical descriptions. These guys actually went out, the publishers of these, or the writers, went out and actually photographed every single angle of Super Hornets and Growlers, went on board carriers, spoke to the people that know about this stuff, i.e. the technicians, the pilots. So, in my mind, for a photographic reference, you know, if you're going to scratch build anything, if you're going to super detail a model, buy this book. So, yeah, wasn't happy with this one. But hey, we'll have our likes and dislikes and preferences of what we like, but hey, lessons learned. Right, so I'm going to sign off now. It's been long enough as an update. I'm going to leave you with some photos now from the P40 build and the Harvard build. In fact, I forgot to mention that the Warhawk that was used in this build was the Edward P40 Warhawk kit, 32nd scale. Had all the resin, photo etch and stuff like that, and a plethora of markings in it, so that was the kit I used. It's actually a rebox of the Hasegawa kit, so if you can get hold of the Hasegawa kit, it's a great kit. It just fell together, no problems, and it just one thing to be aware of with the tail joint, because they molded that kit to cater for very different versions. Like there was a long tail and a short tail version of the P40. There is a tail joint split. Basically, rule of thumb with that kit, don't follow the instructions. It'll tell you to fit the two tail halves together, then the two fuselage halves together, and then join the two. Fit the two tail halves on their independent fuselage halves first, then join the two, then you can fix the join. You can get a better alignment of the fuselage join that way rather than following the instructions. So something to be aware of that if you're going to get that kit. So yeah, signing off now. I'll leave you with photos, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't know what it's going to be, but it'll be following soon. Okay.